For all the people who consider January as the test month and actually agrees that the new year begins in February, gather here. Welcome to the first episode of my podcast, Daily Pod Gems, a space curated to inspire, uplift, and empower you with insightful golden nuggets that will help you kickstart your day every day. So every day, our aim is to bring clarity to a concept, taking into account three perspectives from your favorite podcasters. So for all the people heavy on new year, new goals, new me, today we're going to talk about the power of goal setting as our first episode. Perfect timing, right? I'm your host, Prudently Anonymous, and today we're diving into why goal setting is so important and how you can do it effectively to level up your life. Whether you're aiming to crush career goals, improve your health, or build better habits, this episode is for you. Let's get started. So why does goal setting matter? First of all, let's look at the different ways in which people think about goals. It's a roadmap for your future. It's a blueprint for your life. Whether you call it roadmap or blueprint, the essential thing here is that it's a guide to get you to a point you're aiming to be. Fact of the matter is, if you're existing without no sense of direction, an absolute direction that you want to go to, then you'll be left wandering and lost. So for 2025, we know where we want to go. We're excited to get going, and we're going to identify the steps, the route, and the means to get there. After all, isn't it better to have a plan to succeed rather than just sitting around hoping for success to fall into your lap? There's some sense in that. Wouldn't you agree? I know for some people, annually they do their vision boards, or whether it's digital or physical. There are others who probably enjoy journaling and have a well-written expose of their goals. Granted, however you choose to do it works as long as you follow through. For me, I found a thought useful. I was listening to the Brain Warriors Way podcast in the episode titled The Number One Goal Setting Tool to Get What You Want. Dr. Daniel Amen and Tanya Amen mentioned a concept which was new to me, but I liked it, and I think it's a simple process for people who may not have done a vision board or have a journal or a planner to describe their thoughts and goals. The concept is a one-page miracle. A one-page miracle is pretty much you writing down what you want for your life, whether it has to do with your relationship, whether it has to do with work, whether it's have to do with health, having a better mental health. But it's an intentional breakdown of your goals on one page that you can visit daily. You can review daily. I know some people might say, can all my goals fit on one page? And for those who like to journal, that's okay. Like if you want to bleed your heart out and soul on paper, that's okay as well. But then if you do that one page miracle, you can summarize all your thoughts on one page and pretty much serve as your daily reminder. We all have smartphones with applications where we jot down tasks or things to do. That we go back to when necessary. So having your goals on one page, whether it's a sticker on your fridge, or if it's at your screensaver on your laptop or your phone, in a platform or in a format that you can look at it whenever it's convenient to you, to remind you of what it is that you're working towards or what it is that you're trying to achieve. But identifying your goals, writing them down, is just the first step. That's the first step. Let's backtrack a bit. When it comes to actually setting goals, one of the most effective methods is the SMART framework. And I know the idea of SMART framework is something that we possibly see in all spheres of our lives, right? And I'm sure you've heard SMART goals at some point. So let's jump into it. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. But let's dive into each. So, specific, your goals need to be very clear and detailed. Instead of saying, I want to be healthier, try saying, hey, I'm going to exercise 3 times per week. It must be measurable. You need to have a way to track your progress. So, whether it is you're using your Apple Watch, which provides you with data and statistics, but there has to be a way that you could, track the time, the numbers, whether it's your workout or your calorie count, like just to see how close you are towards getting or meeting the goal that you've set. It has to be achievable. Make sure it's realistic. Sometimes we set up ourselves to fail. So we have to start small and build momentum. It needs to be relevant. At all times, the goals that we set for ourselves need to align with the bigger vision that we have for ourselves. It must be personal, something that you really, really, really want, and that in itself or innately will help to motivate you to go for that goal or goals. And of course, there has to be some deadline or time frame that is attached to that goal. So if you say, okay, I'm going to run a 5K in 3 months, then that's a particular goal. You can look, are there any cross-country event that I can participate in? Or on a personal note, I am going to run 5K, over the next 3 months. But there has to be some time frame that we give to each goal that we set. Now, my very smart people out there, I am going to hold your hand when I say this. Be realistic, be intentional, be practical. Sometimes our goals are both high and difficult to achieve. And what happens is it causes distress when we're unable to meet those goals that we set, right? And one of the key things that I'd want to say here is don't self-sabotage yourself by being a perfectionist. Because sometimes we do set goals that I dare say are unrealistic. And us being our perfect selves, we're like, hey, we're going to do this. And we're going to do this in 2 days. Knowing that that's unrealistic. So Mark Manson and Drew in the podcast, the subtle art of not giving a beep podcast, spoke about this. So when you're a perfectionist, you focus on the outcome of your goal and not the progress. Oh man, I only did a 3K in the 3 months. I wanted to do 5K. I failed. Bummer. The effects of this, you're no longer inspired to achieve that goal. You're not motivated. Let's take me for an example. I started another channel last year and I didn't get the results I wanted. It was depressing. But at the end of the year, I regrouped. I reset my mindset and voila, I'm here. I'm trying again. My goal here is to launch this platform, reach 2,000 engaged and loyal subscribers before 2025 ends. Can you tell that it was my intention to not kick this off in January and that I didn't want to fall in the trap of New Year, new goals? So what better way to kick off in February than with this topic, since February is when people normally forget their new year, new goals. So hint, hint, this is me tapping your shoulder for you to revisit the goals you may or may not have yet identified. whether you did so in January 2025 or whether you're going to be doing so now. And let's put on our most comfortable shoe wear as we take on the journey to achieve the goals that we set for ourselves. And I just wanted to point out that goal setting may seem a simple task because, hey, you're just listing what it is that you want to do and what you need to do to get there. But one of the critical things to note is that it's not always a smooth ride. Following through on the goals that you set is not an easy task. It takes a certain level of discipline, consistency, and the drive to succeed. And yes, we all know the famous saying that many people have reiterated or reformatted: shoot for the stars. So if you fall, you land on a cloud. But let's call a spade a spade. We have to try to be realistic about the goals that we set, break them down into small milestones, whether it's short term versus long term. And one of the critical things, which I mentioned before, is to remember that life happens. And for our brothers and sisters who likes everything to be done in order within a specific time frame, can I just say, again, life happens. Everything won't necessarily go according to plan. There will be hiccups, setbacks, and disappointments. But here's the key. Don't get discouraged. It's all part of the process. If you miss a deadline or fall off track, don't just throw in the towel. Instead, you must reevaluate and just adjust your approach. Maybe the goal was too ambitious, or maybe life got in the way. And the truth of the matter is that's okay. Just keep moving forward. Success is about your drive, determination, consistency. Mel Robbins did an excellent overview in our podcast on the episode, How to Make Next Year the Best Year. Ask yourself these 7 questions. And this reflective and intentional process struck me because one of the things is every January, for those vision boarders and I have my planner, these are the goals that I'm going to set. What we do is we just write down what we want to achieve for the year, right? But do we actually look back at what we did last year or the year before? What worked? What didn't work? What did we achieve? What did we set down to achieve but we didn't achieve? So I'm smitten by the idea of a yearly or annual audit, just to look at the last 12 months of our life. And whether you begin your goal setting process in January or in February, or who knows, it could be a new year for you, could be on your birthday, right? But the idea is that you look at where you are now, and then you review the highs, the lows, the lessons, the struggles, the gaps. Take that all into consideration before even setting your goals for the new year. I'm sure, like me, you live in a world where you always want the upcoming year to be your best year, right? And for that, we don't mind the continuous loop of achieving the best year yet. Every year, we want that to be our best year. But in order to achieve that and to do that, we also have to look back at last year and see what happened last year. What could I have done last year that I didn't get to do? Or what could I have improved on that will help me to be better in this new year or to propel me further to achieve the goals set for this year? And when you do achieve your goal, it's very, 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 very important that you celebrate every step of the process or of your progress. No matter how minuscule it may seem, we have to celebrate every win. This will help you to stay motivated and remind you that you are making strides. You are moving in the right direction. Whether it's acknowledging a week of consistency or hitting a milestone, take the moment to celebrate. These small victories build up to big results. That's a wrap for today, folks. Remember, goal setting is more than just a to-do list. It's about creating a roadmap for your life and staying focused on the bigger picture. And if it is that you have to do a one-page miracle and have that in reach, whether it's on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet, that you can look at any moment to remind yourself what your goals are, then do that. And remember, set smart goals, stay flexible, and keep pushing forward one step at a time. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe and share with a friend who's ready to start making their dreams a reality. Thanks for listening. I hope these podcast gems will give you the boost to energize your day. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.